Southeast Radio's Business Matters with Carl Fitzpatrick.
Southeast Radio.
Well, there has been much talk in Ireland in recent years about the so-called movement crisis, particularly amongst children and teenagers. However, Johann Issartel and his co-founder Jamie McGann from MoveAhead have developed a solution to tackle this very problem. Johann joins me now to discuss the technology behind the business. Johann, before we discuss MoveAhead, I'd like to get an insight into your own background.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think it's my background and also the co-founder like Jamie McGann that I think is important because that piece came together as a package because the two of us are really working in a similar area. So we are basically interested for the last 15 years in children movement science in general, with a huge emphasis on trying to make the kids move better and move more often. So that's where we are. And we have also having a huge experience in terms of intervening in schools, in clubs to make the kids move better. So the fundamental skills is something we've been working on together. And Jamie has also a background in kind of gaming and is also a primary school teacher in the past. So it's all kind of a combination of all those elements together that led us to realize what we've done in research works really well. And we had extremely great success story from moving well, being well, and YPath, and loads of engagement there. But the scale is something that we really, really wanted to change something on that level because it's too hard in research to really reach big numbers. And MoveAhead has the ambition to develop a solution for every single children around the world.
So what was your solution? How are you going to break that mold?
So the way we are approaching it is basically we come to the place where we know the kids are now using digital devices a lot and they love it, and parents feel really guilty to let them use it for too long. MoveAhead solutions really use mobile phones, but also any camera on any devices really, to basically bring the kids where they are on those mobiles, but let them engage in a really positive and a learning way in terms of physical activity and motion. So the kids, when they're going to use MoveAhead solution, they're going to start moving, dancing, jumping. They're going to learn those key skills. They're going to just basically give them the core skill set that they need on a daily basis to engage in physical activity. So our solution is a digital solution, and we empower other companies to embed this movement solution into anything they have. So we have the Pokemon Go at the moment where the kids are going out and using GPS coordinates to track what they do, but they don't really let them explore the skills themselves. So the kids don't really move in a way that they are learning to move better. MoveAhead is there to really just make that bridge to make the kids use the digital devices, but move more often, move better, and we empower companies to do that.
And just to be clear, you're not a game design company, but you're a company that allow game design organisations to embed this technology that gets kids moving.
Exactly, Carl. That's a really important thing. Those game studios don't have the science background we have. So we spent 15 years doing movement science and motor development, motor learning for kids. So this science is at the core of MoveAhead. We embed that into the digital solution, and then the game studio come to us and we give them an API so that they can plug into their existing solutions or developing new games with this feature embedded. And that's why they come to us.
And on a comparative basis, how much has children's movement declined in the past 10 years?
The decline I've been seeing in the last 10, 15 years is basically affecting every single category, from really young age kids to primary school kids, and then teenager is obviously a huge consequences because there's a natural drop when we reach secondary school because there's a life changes environment, but that decline is dramatic at the moment. And you have kids that are 12, 13 years old and they're moving 6, 7 years old.
So I'm assuming that this movement crisis is also leading to things like obesity.
Yeah, absolutely. And again, the obesity, the reason for obesity, nutrition is a massive player there, obviously. But physical activity, our lack of physical activity and increased sedentary time, they both play a key role there. And what we are proposing to do is really to marry where the kids are. We know they love the devices. They want to do something on social media and everything. There is a way now with MoveAhead to embed this love for mobile devices, but also the love for play. The kids love playing. We have to remember that. So if we can combine them together, then it's a unique solution that nobody really is offering that at the moment.
So how does the technology actually work?
So the way the technology works really, so we are using the camera on any devices. And there's really nice like machine learning and AI technology at the moment that allows us to extract the movement the kids do. So we're not using any video that the kids do. So in terms of, it's a privacy by design approach. So the kids really, when they're in front of the screen, they are dancing, moving, as I said, they're jumping. We extract the movements they do. So basically just the little key math points that are representing the kids' actions. And we can crunch those numbers and tell him how well he's doing it. So in terms of like how well his arm is moving, how high he jumps, how well he's doing something. So that's what we do. And that technology allows us basically just to create some games, to give them feedback, to encourage him to do better, to tell him how often he strike a ball. Like you can imagine, like it's the sky is the limit car in the solution where we are now.
And talk to us about the journey that you took in developing the software.
So the journey is like we've been kind of really not, I wouldn't say lucky, but we work hard on that, like to have massive support from Enterprise Ireland. So we're currently finishing up a commercialization fund that we received from Enterprise Ireland. We started that in the summer 2020, just when our great pandemic started. So we managed to establish an amazing team working from game design to back-end development to front-end, computer vision aspect, machine learning. And we now have this great team working with us. And the plan really is just to expand, and we're looking for investors at the moment. So then we can really accelerate the phase we are. We move on now from this kind of proof of concept and minimal viable product. Like we have a working solution that basically allows us to start working with people like Decathlon and all those kind of giants in the industry that really look forward to have a product that have these solutions now.
And I have seen companies like Nintendo through their Wii console incorporate movement into their games also. So is that the type of client you'll also be interested in targeting?
Yeah, absolutely. So the Nintendo have done that with the Wii. And the limitation for the Wii is simply like if you are really smart, you can move your wrist really quickly and then you really can just play tennis like that. And it's not a proper tennis game then. And what we are saying, like because we are tracking the whole body, this body tracking solution we are embedded ourselves allows us to really analyze accurately every single motion the kid is doing. So if you just flick the wrist and you play a tennis game with MoveAhead, it's not going to work. You have to do these big forehand strikes with like reaching back and a follow through, all those classical things any coach will tell you. And what we do that for every single sport, every single game as well. So because it taps into the entertainment industry. So all those toys you see in Smith and all those game shops, then we can power them there. And that's why it's really, really good.
How has the customer acquisition process progressed to date, and what are your plans in that respect?
The plans are really like we are working with different kind of clients. So we had like tier one clients for the like of, like talking with Adidas and Decathlon, like the giant in the industry, talking with the leaders in the entertainment industry as well and the games industry, but also be really cognizant that there is lots of companies that embedding like virtual coaching in different sports. It could be tennis, it could be soccer, it could be golf, like all those different kind of sports where there's smaller market. So at the moment we are reaching out to all those people because some need to be educated a little bit, but others are really need to have MoveAhead embedded tomorrow morning into what they do.
And are there any other applications for this technology?
Yeah, and I think at the moment we keep talking about like typically developing children that just play and want to learn new things. But obviously, like you can imagine like kids with ADHD or even kids with intellectual disabilities, there's a lot of things in the rehabilitation element as well. Like we could do that tomorrow. We didn't pivot there yet because you have to choose your targets, but the solution works and the knowledge we have for this population is already in the company. So that's something we have in the back of our head as a way to expand in the future.
And have you any concern about your ability to hire the right staff, especially tech-based staff, over the coming years?
Not really. That was a fear we had at the start, obviously, because we didn't need core expertise. But as I said, we managed to attract the right staff at the moment, and we have established a core group that works extremely well. So we need to continue expanding this. And that's part of the job we're going to have to do once we have the first round of investors. Hiring key staff just to continue expanding the team will become something essential for us. But we have the right skill sets that we need for now, which is great.
And Johann, finally, are you building the company to position it as an acquisition target in the future?
I wouldn't say we're building it towards getting an acquisition, because I think we'll see where the journey leads us. But absolutely, this is one of the options that's on the card leading to this. Can't really predict what the future will be, but if it's something that comes to the fore, I think we will be receptive to listen to investors and then potential people that want to acquire us in the future.
Well, if you've just tuned in, that was Johann Issartel, and I'd like to wish the team at MoveAhead every success with their business.
Southeast Radio's Business Matters with Carl Fitzpatrick.
Southeast.